making sure that they're properly functioning youth organizations there too. And so sometimes we partner together, like some of our forums and roundtables in the future will be partnering together as far as facility goes or training goes, or just making sure that we know where we're going with things. So.
Very good. And I think, Pastor Walker, those are some good statements in reference to getting young people to participate. I think I'm sort of amazed in so many young people are actually taking advantage of the National Association for the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People.
Absolutely, Dr. Haney. That not only, excuse me, there are a lot of people, young people, that really want to do something positive, but because a lot of times media projects a negative image, you hear it from the radio, television, and the like, of our youth. It's so easy to highlight, you know, the negativity of youth. You know, a youth do something that's not right, then it's everywhere. Everybody gets that information. But you take an event at the First Amendment Center that took place on a week or so ago, then you didn't. Where's the news coverage on that? Why? Because there was positive youth gathered together for a positive experience, and for whatever the reason, that just don't make news. That's just not good news, you know, because you know everybody knows that when you turn on your news channel, the good news is the bad news. Bad news. Because that's who people. That's what people turn it on to see. But when you got a group of youth that you consistently are working with, and you bring them up and you train them up and you give them a knowledge of themselves, a knowledge of the past, now they can take that knowledge of themselves and the knowledge of their past, and they can build a great character, and they can stand strong. And that's I think, Dr. Haney, that's a fear in America. Because if you see what's happening with the educational system, the dumbing down of our educational system, the taking away your name. When I was in school, we had civics class. What happened to it? Why is it not necessary now? Because you learn how the government function, how it operates and stuff like that. So you have a working knowledge of how to maneuver yourself through life. But now it's like there's a dumbing down. So what's important now is that we educate youth as to who we are, where we come from, and where we can go based upon the knowledge we have of our past. And I think that's how we got to look at this thing, and that's why I'm so excited about being able to. I don't know if Mr. Goldthread knows, but I'm up under his wing. I am up under his wing, boy, I'm like a chicken.
I can understand.
Wing, because you know his experience and his expertise in this field, and his passion and his drive to make sure that our youth have access to this knowledge that he has, and not like so many others gain a knowledge, got the knowledge, and then refuse to share the knowledge and the information. And as a result of that refusal, then we got a whole generation of young folks that are kind of like at their own disposal to do whatever they want to do. Yeah, left to their own device. Yeah, and we can't afford to do that. We got to train them up. You know, it's biblical. Train up a child in the way that they should go, and when they're old, they'll not depart from it. That's what's happening in this process.
Mr. Goldthread, give us some final statements in reference to that. We've got about 3 minutes before we end this show for today.
You can take a look at our high schools. Each high school, we have a president and a vice president. Ms. Richards probably can tell you she's having a meeting this Thursday of each high school vice president, president. We're going to have 18 divisions like Pearl Corn, University School, East Magna School. Each school is going to have an 18 division dealing with the inner city and suburban areas, and we all come together and we teach them the political situation of today.
And so, Ms. Pritchard, you're saying that the youth are just about ready to become involved and mature in the sense of understanding the struggles that have occurred and what the NAACP has done in reference to this. Is that what we're saying?
Basically, I believe that youth were always ready and willing and waiting to become more involved. It's just the ability to do so. Because even at a young age, it's not necessarily that we're disadvantaged, but there's more hoops that I guess you have to jump through to be able to go do the things that you like to do. And this is something that I know at least I, myself, and everybody else that is participating, it's something we want to do. So we make sure we're up at 9 o'clock in the morning for some meetings on Saturdays, and we're staying up later to go to other meetings to make sure that we're bettering ourselves. So it's not necessarily that the youth of today isn't willing to do it. It's just that there's not necessarily always a means to do so.
Or an opportunity to do so. And so you find that, in other words, there's a consciousness that you believe that's out there, and all we have to do is to, what, encourage that consciousness?
Encourage, to give a little push, let them know, hey, we have a meeting this Saturday. Like, when and where they can go, and making sure that, and it's also slightly a partnership with our parents or our guardians, whoever else is there for us, to make sure that they're being there, because at the end of the day, that it all goes back to them. So it's just.
And Pastor Walker, we've got about a minute and a half before we end this show for today. What do you think about these young people that are?
Well, Dr. Haney, Sydney Pritchard, she's a reflection of the type of youth that are in existence. You know, there are some very intelligent, very articulate youth out there that are just waiting for somebody to just show some interest, show some concern, and kind of point the way, guide them through the process, and help them make their way through the pathways of life. They're out there in droves, but like I said earlier, we only see the negative ones. We don't get to see the positive one, and that's what we're trying to highlight. That's what we're gonna, not trying to, that's what we're gonna highlight. We're gonna bring to the surface all these positive youth that are just like Ms. Pritchard said, are just waiting for the pathway, the opportunity, for the avenue, for the vehicle to get them to where they already have a desire to go. But you know, when you got these obstacles, you got these roadblocks, you got these people standing in front of you saying, well, you can't. One thing I like about the election of President Barack Obama to the highest office in the world is that he opened a doorway that says, I can.
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
So that's
Very
where we
good.
are.
And let me, over the last half minute that we have here, Pastor Walker, let me thank you and the members of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People for bringing young people to us today, and as well as Mr. Goldthry, who has the history behind him. But I think Ms. Pritchard sort of gives us a new glimpse in terms of what the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People is doing and has done and can continue to do. And I just want to thank all of you for being with us today. And let me encourage our audience to tune in again next week for another informative edition of Comments. Thank you and good morning.